Pakistan's economic woes do not seem to end. The crisis-stricken nation is set to share budget details with the International Monetary Fund to unlock funds to sustain the economy. This comes after the IMF held up to its $1.1 billion funding to Pakistan as part of the country's rescue package, initially agreed upon in 2019. The IMF and Pakistan held 2 weeks of talks in February this year to conclude the ninth review. But the lender has not yet released that money, which is critical for Pakistan to unlock other bilateral and multilateral financing. Pakistan's Finance Minister Ishaq Dar has now come out and said that he would want the IMF to release the funds before the budget was presented. Unlocking stalled funds with the IMF is crucial for the country to recover from an ongoing economic crisis. The political unrest continues on the other hand as well. It has also caused severe economic challenges for months now, due to which food, gas and oil prices have risen through the roof. However, it remains to be seen if the IMF agrees to the bailout package for the country, because there are several terms and conditions that were set by the IMF, something that Pakistan is yet to agree upon, which is why we haven't seen the disbursal of those very crucial funds. Political analyst and columnist from Pakistan, Imran Jan, joins us on this broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on News 18 Global, sir. How important is this bailout to happen? We know the kind of economic hardship the common man in Pakistan has to deal with for months together. How hopeful is Pakistan that this time around the funds will be released?
Well, how hopeful Pakistan is really is anyone's guess, because there's not a very good relationship between Pakistan and the global financial body, IMF. At the same time, this current regime in place does not enjoy much credibility when it comes to financial matters. So the hope is there, but if it doesn't happen, Pakistan the economy is almost on the verge of collapse. The dollar rate is through the roof. The official rate is 308 rupees to $1, but everyone knows, it's close to 350, and it's going to go way close to even 400, even beyond that. So, things are not looking good right now for Pakistan, and it's very important that this bailout package, whatever this tranche, whatever this, amount is, I guess it's 1.2 billion if it's the ninth review of that should reach Pakistan. The interesting part is how much it's impacting the people in Pakistan right now is something you can guess from the fact that Pakistanis may not know who the Chief Justice, for example, or the Foreign Minister, for that matter, of the country is, but everyone can tell you about how things will change if the IMF bailout package reaches Pakistan. That's how desperate people have become. So it's really important that the money, comes to Pakistan. But like I said, since 1958, there have been 22 times of these bailout packages, and almost with the exception of one time, I believe, almost all of those have been gone. They ended up in trouble, and even this one was a 36-month plan, and then 6 months were given extra to Pakistan. Also, $500 million more were added to the total bailout package to give Pakistan some time to deal with the economic mess right now. And given the political situation that is there, especially nowadays, things are going really bad. And I don't know if anyone's focus really is on the economy, whether if it's Imran Khan, regardless of who you support in Pakistan. Imran Khan, Nawaz Sharif, Maryam Nawaz, the Pakistan Army, whichever side you support or dislike, the fact remains that the biggest threat to Pakistan and to the Pakistani people is the economic trouble right now. And that's right now, and that's going to get worse in the days ahead. The Finance Minister Ishaq Dar tried his best to calm the nerves down, calm the markets down, especially the stock market, that the money's coming, and even if the money does not come, he said, Pakistan is not going to default. But it's hard to believe that. It is really hard to believe that. With no other country coming to Pakistan's aid, the traditional ally China or even Saudi Arabia, there's nothing that we have heard that they will come in this time also help Pakistan. We do not know. It's anyone's guess right now, but it's going to be bad.
Yes.
That's where you can safely guess.
Yes, and because you bring up China, I want to ask you, reports suggest that one of the reasons that the IMF has been stalling its bailout is also because of the CPEC project, that the amount of time, energy, effort, money that has been poured into this particular project that has gone on for close to a decade now is not reaping the kind of dividends that it should. Whether Pakistan goes back or takes a tough stance with perhaps one of its very few allies with China as far as the CPEC is concerned, that could determine whether IMF loosens its purse strings.
So let me say this. I have not heard that sort of rhetoric. I'm just now hearing about it. But if even in the past, if I have come across something like the IMF showing concerns about the CPEC project, that's exactly the propaganda that the current regime would like people to believe. That listen, we are the good guys. We want to do something for Pakistan. China is helping us have this, CPEC mega project, and the IMF, the villains, are causing that to derail. That's exactly the propaganda they're spinning. Let me tell you where the problem is right now. One of the things the IMF is saying is to reverse any subsidies. Remember, Pakistan is selling petrol fuel cheaper for a cheaper price than the global prices because they know how that can that is something not affordable in Pakistan. Also, IMF is saying you have to get rid of any benefit for the poor people. If for lack of a better diplomatic language to say this, to express this, the IMF, that's one of the conditions. Reverse the subsidies, get rid of any packages, any plans, any part of the economy that is helping the poor people, and increase taxes. You have to remember that part. That's
Yes.
another thing that IMF is saying. You have to increase the taxes, especially on the income and the working class and the poor people. Uh, the way the Pakistan government and the regime right now in place, they translate that is they just give a very nice break to the rich people and to the rich corporations, but everybody else has to go ahead and pay high taxes. So that's where the friction is between the IMF and Pakistan government right now. Besides the friction that's already there because of the lack of trust, because like I said, majority of the time Pakistan is not able to meet the demands and pay back the loan in time, and they always come back to the IMF asking for more time and more leverage and more concessions. And
Yes.
so again, when all these things are rubbed together, eventually the poor people in Pakistan are going to lose from whatever comes out of that friction.
Right, so like you said, there is a trust deficit as far as Pakistan establishment is concerned and the IMF goes. Then do you think Pakistan is in a position to set terms and conditions as far as this negotiation or this bailout is concerned? Because one of the things that the IMF also wanted an assurance from was the differentiation between the civilian budget and the army budget, which currently is not the case for Pakistan. The army spending is also something that the IMF has been very, very critical about.
So to answer your first question, if Pakistan has any leverage to dictate its own terms, I know you did not use the exact words like dictate, but if I understand your question correctly, absolutely not. If I have to answer that, there was when Shehbaz Sharif government started in Pakistan, there was a funny meme always circulating because that's exactly what he said at the time. Beggars cannot be choosers, and it doesn't make me happy saying that. Being a Pakistani American myself, I don't enjoy saying that, but that's a fact. Pakistan is in a position where it cannot, absolutely cannot dictate any terms. It only has to listen, bow its head, follow the rules, follow the dictates of the IMF. And again, I'm not trying to create this impression of the IMF as a villain party. They are giving the money to Pakistan. Pakistan is the one that needs to get its house in order. That's what needs to be done. So no, Pakistan does not have any leverage like that. I was just going through some tweets and I came across, I'm sure you already know, the Pakistani High Commission in New Delhi is in India right now, is not able to pay its bills. And there was something about schooling for the children and diplomatic staff. The government right now is not able to pay its salaries for the diplomatic staff around the world. India is one country we just came to know about. I'm sure it's the case in many other countries. So it's really not in a position to negotiate or dictate any terms. It is desperate right now. Whatever conditions it can meet from the IMF in order to get that money, it will do that. There, and especially this current regime, it does not have any reputation to put up a fight with IMF. Yeah, Imran Khan was a man who probably did something like that, who would have done something like that. This regime is absolutely not going to put up a fight. It is only going to listen to the dictates and hope and pray that IMF actually sends down, wires that money to the account of Pakistan government, and we finally are able to pay our bills and help the situation.
And the people of Pakistan on ground, they are really hoping that that breakthrough happens and that the government does bow down to the IMF so that they can now come out of the hardships that they've been living for months together. Imran Jan, thank you so much for speaking with us here on News 18 Global and sharing your perspective.